Hi, everybody. Welcome to It's Busy. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to It's Busy. It is episode 587. Okay. Happy Tuesday, everybody. How are you? I hope this is finding you well. I had lots of downloads last week. Thank you again. It means so much to me to see these downloads. I'm like, wow, I don't really go look for them. I get up in my inbox like, this is how you did last week. I'm like, oh, great. So anyway, thank you everybody that is here and thank you for listening and please subscribe. And if you could give me a rating as well, I would so greatly appreciate that and follow wherever you're listening to this podcast. Thank you for that too in advance. So today, my topic is kind of hard. At least it is for me. And it is standing your ground and doing what you say you're going to do and cherishing what you know is right for you. I don't know when it started for me that I became a people pleaser. I think I was conditioned as a young girl being born in 1968 that you're supposed to be a caregiver. You went to home ec, you learned how to bake, you learned how to sew clothes, you were going to be a mom. I tell people in a kidding, joking manner that I graduated with my MRS degree from college, means a Mrs. degree. And not that it's bad, because I've loved every minute of my life. And I don't want to say that I've hated any of it because I really have. Has it been tough at times? Of course. Raising a family is really, really, really hard. But it's also so rewarding. And even in times like I've been having for the past couple of years, which has been like estrangement, marital stuff, like all this stuff I've been going through. And people say, how do you do it? And I'm like, because I have hope and I believe in God and I believe that God has a path for me. And I don't know what that path is, but I have to have hope. And I think we all can have hope if we're still alive. I think that is one thing that we need to focus on a lot more, is having that hope and not going, oh my gosh, this is so bad. It's just realizing we are in this time. We are in this moment. Lots of stuff is being shown to us these days, and it's causing a lot of drama and chaos. And in all of that chaos, we lose ourselves, right? Especially when you're raising young kids and when you're raising a family, your needs go to the wayside, right? It's like, I'm going to take a shower when? I don't know. When they're babies, you're like, when am I going to shower? And you invite somebody over so that you can take a shower. And you're like, oh, I can take a shower. It's peaceful. It's quiet. And I can tell you, being 57 years old now, I so much enjoy my quiet. And I never did before because it wasn't comfortable, because I was always surrounded by noise and chaos. I grew up in a house that was very chaotic. It was loud. There were lots of kids, lots of people, lots of noise. And then I had my own family, and that was lots of noise and lots of chaos and all that. And I didn't know how to say, time out, I need some help, or time out, mom needs mom time. And that didn't happen for me. I guess it happened in the summers after I got divorced. I did have time because my kids went to sleepaway camp. And I know that before that I didn't really have that time. And I didn't take that time for myself. And I think that it takes us to this midlife place where we all get to and we're like, now what? The chaos is gone. The kids are doing what they're doing. Your spouse, who's been on the back burner, is now kind of wanting you to pay attention to them, and you're like, I don't know, really do I don't find this that interesting. And so you're like, what am I going to do? And how am I going to take care of me? Put that mask on my face, and how am I going to breathe, and how am I going to find joy, and how am I going to find happiness? And it can be really, really, really hard. And if you're lucky enough to have girlfriends, which I've had girlfriends in my life, I don't really have, I do. None of them live in my town. They all live all over the world, actually. And you find yourself by yourself. And I know there's a lot of people out there these days that are kind of by themselves. and it's lonely. But it's taking the ability to say, you know what, it's not lonely as much as it is, I'm going to wait to see what God has in store for me. That is saving grace for me. Proverbs in the Bible has all the ways that you can live your life. Like it tells you exactly what you need to do to live a happy life. And I never knew that as a child because we didn't really talk about the Bible. We just went to church. And now getting into the Bible, and I'm doing a 30-day um, reading of the Bible because in November that's what they do. And so I've been doing that, and they send me a prompt every day, and it's through the Bible app. And every day it sends me a reading, and it's short and it's sweet, and it's gets me thinking. Though I always ponder when I hear scripture, it just makes me think, and it reminds me of my own life. And I'm also doing, just to make even more, I'm also doing the consecration to Mary on Hallow, which is 33 days. And I just finished day 29. And this weekend, I heard that when Jesus was in the garden waiting, knowing he's going to be crucified the next day, and he says to his apostles, come with me. And Peter, he said, come with me, come with me. And he goes, I'm just going to walk away for a minute, but I need you guys to be here because I'm feeling like this is going to happen to me tomorrow. Because at that point, Jesus was a human being and he knows he's going to be killed. Kind of scary, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to be crucified tomorrow. I want my friends to be by you. And he goes out to be near his friends and they're all asleep. Does that ever happen to you? You're like, all my friends are asleep. They're just not paying attention. They said they were going to be here for me, but they fell asleep. I think we can all relate to that. And that is just like how much the Bible can work in our lives. However, it's how many years old the Bible. I don't even know exactly the number, so I'm not going to lie and say I do. But all of the tricks and trades of how to live this life are in there. And I've said this many times. Ben Shapiro says it's the best self-help book ever. And I think it is. So Proverbs is where it is. But we don't set boundaries for ourselves. And when we do, some people don't like them. And I know that when I first started setting boundaries, it was really uncomfortable. Nobody around me liked it. It was like I was screaming in a room and nobody heard me. And I would say yes all the time when I meant no. Do you know what I mean? Like you say yes, and I should have said no. I know in my heart this doesn't feel right, but I say yes just because I say yes instead of saying no. I'm like, I need to be saying no to this. In my gut, I know I need to say no, but we don't do that. We say, yeah, sure, I'm going to go along with this. And when I had, a drink in my hand, it was so much easier to use that as my excuse. Well, I did that because I was drunk. Well, I can't do that. I have to look at things and I have to say, if I feel a feeling, which we all do, we all have this instinctual notion, God gave us this too, to know right from wrong. And we know what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. We know when we're walking somewhere that we're like, this doesn't look good. This doesn't feel good. I don't know if I should be doing this. And we do it anyway. And instead of going, you know what, I'm going to reverse, beep, beep, beep. I'm not going to do this. Sticking to what you believe is hard. It just happened to me. Actually, it just happened to me very recently. I was asked to do something. And it sounded amazing. It really did. And I was like, this sounds so great. And it could be like, I could make a lot of money. It would be so great. It would be like, oh my gosh, I just hit a home run with this. It's going to be amazing. But there was something. There was something that didn't feel right. There was something that was like, this is off. And I had to decline because I had to be honest with myself. And I think that sometimes we can't just do things because of money, right? I mean, I know society says, well, you need this, you need that, you need to get your lips done, you need to get your filler, you need to get all this stuff. You got to go buy the right jeans, you got to buy the right handbag, you got to go buy a Louis Vuitton, or you got to buy a Gucci, you got to buy it so everybody thinks you're cool and you're rich, like the Kardashians. You got to do that. But I've realized that's not where it's at. For a long time, I was drinking that Kool-Aid. I thought, I need this, I need that. And the reality is, I need nothing but to be humble enough to say, I can't do something when I can't do it. If I see that I'm walking towards something and there are, as one of my guests, Holly Thornton, used this analogy and I loved it. When you see the pink flags, you see the pink flags before you see the red flag, right? So you see these pink flags and you're like, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to do this. But then you do it, as I just mentioned, and you get into something you don't want to get into and you have to get out. And especially in relationships, it's very difficult when you say to somebody, I don't want to do this, and it's somebody you really care about. It's really hard to say no. You want to say, yes, I'll do it because I care about you. I'm going to do it, even though I know this isn't right. And with family, they know your places, your tender places, and they know those places that you're going to be like, oh yeah, you got me. I'll do it. I'll do it. I know everything says no, I shouldn't do it. I've seen the pink flags. I know this red flag's coming in 2 seconds, but I'll do it, okay, because you told me to. And when you're dealing with people in your family that you set a boundary with and you're like, I told you I'm not going to do this, but they're like, come on, you can do it. You got it. You got to do this, please, please, please. And you're like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But they're like, please. And you're like, oh my God, I'll just say, okay. And in the end, you're sitting there with egg on your face because you know you shouldn't have done it. And the outcome was what you thought it was going to be. But you did it because somebody else convinced you. Someone else manipulated you. Didn't feel good, but you didn't have the strength. Say no. Confrontation's too hard. Telling somebody how I really feel. No, I can't do that. They might not like me. What if somebody doesn't like you? During this political stuff, there's a lot of people who don't like me anymore. It's okay. It's happened. It's happened. It happens all the time. I talk about God. People don't like that. They don't want to hear me talk about who I like, politically. They just don't like it. And it's okay. It's okay. When COVID came down, there was like, you need to do this. You need to do that. I'm like, honey, stay in your own lane. I'm going to do me. You don't have to do me. You get to do you. Last I checked, we still live in a free society. So taking care of you no matter what is what's important, right? Because there's only one you, and you only have one soul. And you only know instinctually what is yes and what is a no yourself. Nobody else can tell you that. You might search for people to tell you, please tell me your thoughts. Please give me your opinion. And in the end, you have a relationship with God yourself. God will speak to you personally. He's not going to speak to Sally or Georgie or whoever and tell you through them what you should be doing. No, we have to get quiet. We have to pray and we have to get quiet. And it's not easy in the beginning. Meditating was really hard for me. And I did a course and did all this stuff. As you guys know, if you've been listening to me for a long time, I did a course at Penn to learn how to meditate. The reality is you will never not have thoughts, you guys. You're never going to sit there with no thoughts until you're dead. So just watch them and enjoy them and embrace them. Embrace your thoughts when you're meditating. Embrace the fact that it's going to go, oh my gosh, I've got to do laundry. Oh my gosh, do I have anything for dinner? Did I buy my Christmas gifts yet? Da, 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 da. It's going to happen. So just embrace it. You're always going to have that. But when you finally hear this thing inside of you that says, yeah, I got to do this. No, I don't have to do that. It just feels like I know I'm on the right path when I hear it. Like you hear something and you're like, I'm going to walk with this. And you're going to be like, it's okay. I heard what I'm supposed to do and I'm going to walk with that. And sometimes when you don't hear, you do nothing. Now you're probably thinking, what are you talking about, Bizzy? Do nothing. When we are facing something that we don't have an answer for, sometimes we have to sit till we hear the answer. Now, have I done this for a long time? No. I have been so impulsive, it isn't even funny most of my life. 57 years old again, 57, and I've made so many crazy mistakes, moved here, moved there, I got a whim, gotta go there, feelings, because those feelings would come. Mm, 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 mm. Those feelings of inadequacy, those feelings that remind me of my childhood, those feelings, that trauma, that stuff that happened a long time ago, and I see something or hear something, and I go, "Oh, that hurts. I gotta get out of here. I can't have that feeling. I gotta change something. What am I gonna change? I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move." I can tell you, when I lived in the same house for maybe it was 15 years, I lived in the same house I raised my kids in. I still have that house, actually. But when I was living in that house, raising my kids by myself, 3 kids, and I bought the house in June. No, I bought the house in June. No, I bought the house. Yeah, I bought the house in June, and I got sober in August. And so I had a lot of feelings go through that house. And I had a lot of feelings happen to me in that house. Lots. Lots of times I wanted to run. Now, for better or for worse, I didn't really have the option to run. And you might be thinking, why couldn't you run, Elizabeth? And I'm like, oh, because I had these kids. Yeah, I had these kids. And I had to make sure that they were going to like be okay and they were going to be at the school that they've been going to forever. And they've got these friends and they have this life. And it can't be about me. And I'd say all the time, I can't wait to move. I can't wait to move. So the minute I had an opportunity to move, I moved. And then something happened and I moved again. And then something happened and I moved again. And I moved 5 times in a very short period of time. And I can tell you that it didn't make the feelings go away. It didn't make the inadequacy go away. It didn't make the pain go away. But what I've learned today is that I can sit in that pain. I can do things differently. I pray now, as I've mentioned many times. I sit there in the morning and I listen to Hello and I listen to the Bible app and I listen to Ascension. I listen to whatever I want to listen to that day. And I sit in the feelings and I know for a fact that they are not facts. Feelings aren't facts. They change all the time. You know what? Everything changes, you guys. Nothing doesn't change. We are all going to die one day. That is the only thing we know is for sure. And knowing that we just have today and we just have to live in this moment. So you're up, you maybe get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you go maybe to bed at 10. So during those hours, you just want to let go. And so sometimes I have to visually think of myself in a canoe, because when you're in a canoe, you normally have somebody sitting behind you. And I envision that as being God is behind me and he's paddling. And I'm sitting in front and I am just trusting that I'm going where God wants me to go. I don't know where that is, but I'm participating in life. I'm going out. I'm doing my work. I'm talking to people. I'm doing everything I need to do to get to this place of centeredness. And I need to say things when I see things. So when I see the red flag coming, I got to say no. And I got to do me. And some people might not like it, and that's okay. That's okay, because I've been doing a lot of stuff for a lot of people my entire life. And now it's time for me to do me. And I've got to be okay with that, because a lot of people might not like it. But I already have a lot of people that don't like what I do and don't talk to me and judge me all the time. So, you know what? Have at it. Go for it. Judge me. I don't care. And when we get to that freedom and we know that God loves us and that he has a plan for us, our life is so much richer. And this too shall pass, you guys, wherever you are. And setting those boundaries, as hard as they are, let me tell you one thing. That word no is an entire sentence. So you can say no if you don't want to do something. It's okay. You're not going to please everybody, but you sure as heck have to go to bed yourself and hopefully get a good night's sleep. And if you aren't doing what you want to do, you're probably not sleeping well. So remember that. Oxygen mask on you. Tell the truth and be your authentic self. That's all you have to do. Thanks for listening, you guys, today. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, if you could give me, again, go to the place where you give a rating, give me a little comment. I would love that. And the best way to reach me is email me at Elizabeth, ELIZABETH, at elizabethchance.com, and that's CHANCE. And until next time, you guys, remember this, you are not alone. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe. And if you want to get my newsletter that comes out every Friday, go to elizabethchance.com. You'll be prompted there. And there's also a link in this podcast that you can just click that and sign up for my newsletter. Take care, everybody. And I will be back on Thursday. I have an amazing guest, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Until then, again, be well. Take care. Sending blessings to you all. Bye. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast, or if you're watching me on YouTube, press subscribe. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.